He was the 33rd pick in the draft, a second rounder, too small, too slow, a backup point guard for his first 4 years in the league. And right now, Jalen Brunson is the undisputed king of New York, one win away from a championship, fresh off dropping 36 points in the largest comeback in NBA Finals history. So how does a player nobody wanted become this? Let's break it down year by year. Just how good is Jalen Brunson? Here's the plan. The doubted prospect and the breakout nobody saw coming. The contract one team refused to pay that changed everything. The leap from role player to all NBA scorer. And the clutch gene that's carrying a franchise right now. Everything is verified. Let's start where he started, near the bottom of the draft. This is Game is Culture. If you like players judged by what the numbers actually show, hit subscribe. We're chasing 1,000, it's free, and it genuinely helps. Now the doubted prospect. The prospect nobody valued. Coming out of Villanova, where he won 2 national titles and a National Player of the Year, the NBA still passed on him over and over. He fell all the way to the 33rd pick, the second round, in 2018. The book on him was simple and brutal. Too small, not athletic enough, a backup at best. For 4 years in Dallas, that's exactly what he was, a quality reserve behind Luka Doncic. Now watch what happened to his scoring once he got real minutes. 9 points as a rookie, then 12, then 16. Then the moment he left for New York, an explosion. 24, then a career high of nearly 29 points a game. This is not a normal development curve. This is a player who got dramatically better deep into his career when most guys have already peaked. The turning point was the 2022 playoffs. With Doncic hurt to start a first-round series, Brunson got the keys and went off, back-to-back games of 41 and 31 points. Suddenly, the backup looked like a lead guard. The whole league saw it, and it set up the most important decision of his career, and one team's biggest mistake. The bet Dallas wouldn't make. Here's the part that still stings in Dallas. Before that breakout, Brunson's camp reportedly asked the Mavericks for a 4-year, $55 million extension. Dallas said no, so that summer he walked and signed with the New York Knicks for 4 years and $104 million. Dallas let a future franchise guard leave for nothing over an extension half that size. And that $100 million contract, the one people mildly questioned at the time, instantly became one of the best values in the entire NBA. Because the second he became the number one option in New York, he didn't just meet the deal, he blew past it. The Knicks were paying for a good starter and got a franchise cornerstone. The leap to stardom. In his second year in New York, he reached another level entirely, nearly 29 points and 7 assists a game, an all-NBA season, and a plus-minus of plus 512. Read that. His team outscored opponents by over 500 points with him on the floor across the season. That is genuine superstar production from a former second-round backup. Think about how rare that jump is. Players don't usually go from a 16-point role player to a 29-point All-NBA number one option in 2 seasons, especially not in their mid-20s, and especially not at his size. Most careers are settled by then. Brunson rewrote his ceiling on the fly by getting skilled enough that his physical limits stopped mattering. The size problem. Because here's the thing the doubters got wrong. Brunson is listed at 6'2", genuinely undersized for a lead option. But he turned that into a strength by becoming a craft master. Elite footwork, an old school mid-range game, a pro's pace, and a knack for drawing fouls. He's an 84% free throw shooter who lives at the line. He doesn't rely on athleticism, so length and youth can't take it away. That's the secret to his game aging beautifully. A player built on bounce declines fast. A player built on skill, balance, and angles only gets better as the reads slow down for him. Brunson is essentially a throwback guard, scoring from the in-between areas everyone else abandoned. It's why a defense knows what's coming and still can't stop it. The closer.
And then there's the part that turns a great scorer into a franchise savior, the clutch gene. Brunson has built a reputation as one of the most reliable playoff scorers alive, the guy who gets better as the pressure rises. This postseason, he's been the engine again, and in Game 4 of the finals, he authored the defining performance of the year. Look at this finals. He's the leading scorer in the entire series at nearly 30 a game. And in game 4, down by as much as 29, season on the brink, he dropped 36 points to drag New York through the largest comeback in NBA Finals history. That is not a stat line. That's a player refusing to let his team's season end. That comeback game is the whole thesis in a single night. The undersized second rounder carrying a franchise that hasn't won since 1973 on the biggest stage in the sport simply would not lose. You can't measure that in a box score, but it's the exact trait that separates a really good scorer from the guy you build a championship around. So how good is he? So here's the verdict. Jalen Brunson is a legitimate top-tier offensive engine and one of the best lead guards in basketball, built entirely on skill rather than physical gifts. He took the most doubted profile in the sport, a small second-round backup, and turned it into an all-NBA, franchise-defining, championship-level career. The doubters weren't lying about his limits. He just made the limits irrelevant. And the payoff is right in front of him. He is one win away from ending a 53-year championship drought as the unquestioned face of the New York Knicks. From the 33rd pick that two teams gave up on, to the king of New York with a title in reach. However you rank him, that journey is one of the most impressive in the modern NBA. So I'll ask you, is Jalen Brunson a top 5 point guard in the league, or is he somehow still underrated even now? Drop your take below, and if you want more players broken down by what they actually are instead of what they were labeled, subscribe and join the family.